Hello everyone, we are back with another Clossi Approach video, game 2 of the 9Q to 7Q range, and I am black today, so I'm actually quite excited to introduce the points lever opening that I learned from Young Gusank. Now, I've only watched the lecture once, so I'm not going to implement it perfectly, but I think it's good because I don't think a lot of players will be able to implement it perfectly the first time either. But the idea that we're aiming for is we're going to try to take 3 corners and then see what happens. And the reason I'm excited about this is because I've seen it be very effective at the Q level, getting 3 corners of territory and just dealing with the Moyo in the middle game. I've seen it can be very, very powerful. And since we're at single digit Q, we can now learn some openings, like the Chinese opening, Kobayashi, whatever. And this is one I wanted to introduce to you guys. And if you want more details on it, you'll have to check out the Young Guseng lecture, because this is where I learned it from, and I haven't even fully mastered it yet. I don't even understand it all yet. I still have to watch the lecture several more times. But I was very inspired by it, and I really like it. So I'm going to attempt it this game, and we'll go from there. Don't forget that the single digit Q stuff, we're focusing on opening, we're focusing on learning patterns and more Josekis. Middle game, we're focusing on aggressive defense, and we can do attachments for invasions now. And then, of course, endgame is still the same. It's just going to be Sente, Sente, Sente. We might be able to start comparing endgame a little bit now as well. So we're going to resume the game.
Game resumed.
Have a good game. All right, so we're actually going to play here. And for those who know me, this is not... It's supposed to be right here. And there's a lot of like history behind it. But this is a kind of a psychological play, which I think Kadar knows the points lever. Kadar's a Young Sing member as well. Oh, and thank you, Kadar, for volunteering. But regardless, I do have a plan. So even if he goes here, I don't really care, because I do have a plan for what I want to do. So I'm just gonna go here. Normally, if they would go here or over here, just from habit, and then you can play this 3-4 and you have dual opposite facing 3-4s. And that can get into the points lever that you want, but I think Kadar knows it, so he's going to try to counter it. But it's okay. Even if they do this, I don't really care. All I'm aiming for is 3 corners. It doesn't really matter how you get there. You don't have to play it perfectly until like 4Q plus. All right, so what I'm going to do is make a basic Shimari, and that's it. That's what you're aiming for. And even if the 3-4 was right here, you'd still make this Shimari. But the goal is to get 3 corners of points to get, just so you can get 30 points, and then just deal with whatever Moyo happens. But basically, we're gonna get 30 points and then Clossi Approach it. That's it. Yeah, so Drooch mentioned that D3. Like I said, I haven't learned it fully, but I think this one is easier to use than a cross Suseki for 9Q to 7Q. 30 points in the opening. Like, all we need is 30 points in the opening. Okay, so next up, we are going to get into the corner. I forget if you go low or high here. I want to go high because Clossi Approach, you have support, so let's just go high. But normally they would approach. I think Kadar is not going to let me get a 3-3. Because normally you get an enclosure, they approach, you get a corner and Sente, and then 3-3 is the idea. But I think Kadar is specifically trying to prevent me from doing it. It can be scary. It can be scary. Okay, so... Oh, cool. So let's see. We do want to get Sente as fast as possible, but weak groups first. So we want to attack this. So we're going to take the base. Okay, then we jump up is the next shape, and if they slide, we just block like this. It's okay. We can also block like this, and it's okay. So no big deal. Just get our free profit. And then when we get the chance for a big move again, we'll go 3-3. Okay, so I can go here or I can go here. So if I go here, he does have the jump, but that's really bad for eye space, and it's also cuttable. Okay, so he just pushes, I block. Okay, so now let's compare that to this one. He push, I block, he push, I block, he cut, I Atari, he connects, I connect. That doesn't seem that bad. What if he push, block, cut this way, Atari, down, Atari, That's not that bad either. So I think this is fine. Honestly, I'm really just wanting Sentai. He does have some annoying stuff on the outside, but it's okay. I am reading here. I think that it's a habit that you need to build at single digit Q is when you have two options, read them both and compare. I may be reading a little. He's not gonna let me do it. He's just like no. But I will get to punish him for tanuking this though. Okay, so what I was saying was I want you to build the habit, even if you don't like read it as accurately as me or as deeply as me. I want you to build the habit of like, if you have multiple variations, I want you to read them out and compare. That's the habit you need to build at single digit Q. You will improve on it as you get stronger at single digit Q, but 9Q to 7Q, this is the important range where you build the habits that will build the skills you want later. So in other words, if you want to learn how to read, you have to start reading, right? If you want to learn how to read 5 moves, you got to start reading 3 moves. You want to learn how to read 10 moves, you got to start reading 5 moves. And then you need to give yourself options. You need to not play instantly. You need to think through your moves. And you need to build the habit to do this, because right now it's just all about building the habit. Once you build the habits, it's very, very easy to just improve on them with practice and go problems and just doing a little bit more. But one bad thing is a lot of people at this range have bad habits. And that's where you got to catch yourself. Like if you're playing too fast, if you're not giving yourself options to think about. That's where people will get stuck at this range, because now you can no longer do that. So it's important to think about what bad habits you have, break them, and work on the good habits. And all it is just work on your habits. That's very important. Okay, so white Tanuki weak group. So I definitely want to punish. So cap. So it depends on what I definitely want to build this area. So let's think of about the profit. And I believe I mentioned in the last video, or maybe I just taught my students this so many times. The profit is what's the next thing you want to do. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is the bottom, but I don't think I can make the fight relative to the bottom. So the next thing after that is my big framework. And I think that one's very easy to see how it relates to the fight. So it's like, okay, I now know that I want the profit from this to either affect the bottom or affect the top right. Okay, that's what I want the profit to do. So let's look at our options. We have cap, we have shoulder hit, knight's move, shoulder hit, large knight's move. So basically we just have, I think these 3 are the ones we have. I don't see any cutting points. And now I compare. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, that builds the left. This one also builds the left. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe 5 right here. That builds the right. So I think the knight's move is the one I'm going to go for. Okay, so I gave myself options and I said which one makes the profit. So this one. So that's what you want to do. When you're like, okay, they ignored, I want to attack. Okay, well now you know what the goal is, and then you just need to find options to consider, and then read those options like 3 to 5 moves and say which one does the goal the best. And it's just that it sounds simple enough, but it's actually really hard to take the time to do it. It's actually really hard to slow down and actually work through that process until you build that habit to do it like pretty fast. But right now, it's all about building the habit, so it's okay to be a little bit slow at it. It's understandable that you're gonna have to think about it. They're trying to cut. We played a knight's move, which is cuttable, yes, but we're the attacker because this is our area, so we control this area. So we should not be afraid of the fight. I think white's too weak to do this, so I'm going to cut and threaten to connect. He should cut, and then I'm going to Nobi, which threatens the net. I can't Atari because then my stone up here will get cut off. So I have to Nobi. And then he has 2 weak groups, and I have 1 weak group. And I'm perfectly fine with that because I control this area. And maybe control this area. I'm much safer here than white. So I feel very, very okay with this fight. Okay, he goes here. Not sure what he's aiming at. Maybe some sort of reduction. I don't care. I'm just going to play defense first and connect. If I stay strong and keep him cut, I'm perfectly fine. Because cutting points is the key in attack and defense at the Q level. Watch those cutting points. Watch those cutting points. So just staying strong here is perfectly fine. Okay. So I have two options here. So first off, I can push and then Knight's Move to start making my base. But before I just make my base, that's the double digit Q answer, which we need to consider first. So first I consider the base. Okay, now I say, is there any weakness in my opponent's position that I can use to help me? So I do have the base, and that kind of helps. There's also a peep right here, but I don't know if that helps me make any base or anything. But I can go here. This surrounds his group. So this allows me to get strength on the outside. So I'm kind of running away before making a base. But this one also surrounds white. So I think it's very, very dangerous for white. It might kill him, it might not. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. All I'm worried about is, am I okay? So if he pushes and cuts, I Nobi, he peeps, seems okay. So I'm debating this one and this one. I kind of want to be max aggressive though. Because, yeah, I have a push and cut and Nobi, but I can still make a base. So I'm kind of like Miai to be okay, and he's dying. So I don't think he has time to cut me, which means, with that logic, that I'm not cuttable. If he doesn't have time to cut me, I'm not cuttable, so I can be more aggressive. And when you're putting on pressure, you want to put on the max pressure while watching your weaknesses. So I think this is my move. There's also a clamp right here, but I think a tiger's mouth peep and then Nobi would just ruin that. Maybe there's a net. I don't know. I think this is just fine. I think this one's fine. I'm probably just overthinking it at that point, trying to find a Tsuji. And just simple works. All right. So now white's in a life and death scenario. So here, what you need to be thinking about is what's the worst thing they can do to you. Okay, it looks like white's sacrificing, so I'm just going to stay strong. I mean, bamboo joint. Is there anything else I can Nobi? I can wedge. What's the best here? What is the best? What is the best? What is the best? I can Hane as well. That one's a little... No, this one's fine. But the Nobi makes it Gote, I believe, because cut, Atari. Yeah. So Nobi, Hane, what push through, but he might go here. No, he won't, because then I can just cut and go here. So, okay, I have 1, 2, 3 moves. So I need to read 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's looking nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like this one. Let's see if we can connect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can sacrifice 1 stone to try to get a little bit better shape. I'm fine with that. I think I'm fine with that. I like this one. I like this one. H18, if he gets a Nobi later, it's looking like it'll be Sente. So I'm thinking this Nobi will Sente and you'll have to empty triangle. Because if he H18, he Nobis and you Tanuki, he can push the diagonal and you connect, and then he can wedge through, which maybe creates some sort of Liberty problem. So I think the shape's not as good. So when you're like checking shape, you got to look for forcing moves, any sort of Liberty problems, any sort of cut problems, and you want to take the one with the least amount of problems. The least amount of problems for you, the most amount of problems for them. Okay, so we do have 30 points. And as soon as the fight's over here, which I don't think the fight's going to be over for a while. Okay, we're just going to cut. I think this is the only move. You can consider this, but just this is like the only move. Because cut, right? You're cutting your opponent. So not really any other option to do that. So don't overthink that one. This one's our connection because you don't want to get cut. So that one's fine too. We don't want to play it instantly, but we also don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Playing it instantly would be bad though. Because like, what if we're wrong and we miss something? We need to like double check other shapes really fast. Okay, that should have been a tiger's mouth. Actually, no, it should have been a connection. So can we keep fighting? So first off, let's check here. Are we good? Oh yeah, we are golden. We are golden right here. I have no problems. Is this a life? This is a life and death problem, so we want to read it before we leave. So boop boop. Boop 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 boop. That's an Atari, but an Atari. Take Atari. Okay, what's that shape look like? Here, 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 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's a tiger's mouth. That's just a vital point. A bulky 5. I think that's a bulky 5. Is there anything right here when he takes? No. Is there any other way to make eyes? Here, 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 here. That is... I don't see 2 eyes. Okay, so I'm going to trust my reading. If he lives, whatever, as long as I don't die, I don't really care. Okay, before I can go to big move, I have to check my opponent's weaknesses. There's an obvious Atari right here. Atari, and then connect. Is that okay? Where's my profit? Honestly, I can just Atari and then cut and then kill these 2 stones, but that's not very big. So I'd have to Atari and maybe Nobi or something. Alright, so we're in Byoyomi, so I might have to like double digit Q it. I don't see the profit immediately, but we're running out of time. So attacking this should be bigger than a big move. So we're going to attack it. As soon as he starts living, though, we need to get to that big move. If I M16, he'll just connect on the outside. I cut, he Ataris. I Atari, and then he nets. Oh, just take. I mean, no big deal. Is he going to get a big move, though? I mean, I got a lot of center, though. He's playing a lot of sacrifice plays. So here, I'm just going to protect my base. I could try to Hane, but I think I'm just going to Nobi, because I kind of want Sente. So I just want to check his base, protect my base, and then take Sente, probably. Yes, it did. If I am 16 instead of L15, that net works. Okay. I'm going to 1 Dan. This series is going all the way to 1 Dan. It's the Clossi Approach from beginner to 1 Dan.
10, 9,
okay,
7,
check the cut.
6,
Cut is good.
5,
So just play a big move.
4,
Just wedge. I have a base on both sides. No, the M18 is the one that gets... Or the M... What? M18? I have no idea what you're talking about. M18 had nothing to do with it. This is fine. This is just the OSA. It's his right to do this, and this helps secure the death, so I'm fine with it. Make sure there's not a tiger's mouth. That doesn't affect the life. Because if there's a tiger's mouth, I can just go here. Tari, take, tiger's mouth, connect. Let's check
10,
this again.
9, 8, 7.
Still a bulky 5. Or actually, it's a T4, I think. Okay, and just solid connection. Don't want co-threats. All right, and now we're in middle game. All of that was technically in the opening because there was still an open side. I mean, technically it's a middle game because it's attack and defense, but we finally finished the last opening move. Okay, so largest framework. Where's it at? Probably white's, right? So let's just settle so white can't force. We can also go here.
10, 9, 8.
That's too complex. We're winning. We just need to be simple, and we're also in overtime, so let's just be simple. Just play our simple double digit Q moves. If the double digit Q moves work, and we're Miyoyami, let's just do it. No reason to be complex. This one is just a slide. Hopefully everyone knows this one. Because I'm just expanding my eye space, but I don't want to, like, armpit hit. And there is a Tsuji. If he blocks it here, it does activate a Tsuji, so I would need potentially one more move to fix this area, but even if he does the Tsuji, I get a lot of thickness for it, so... Oh, I guess he just does that. That's fine, too. Yeah, I'm just fixing. I think, if you don't know this Tsuji, I think it's a popular Tsuji. Yeah, don't try to be special. Don't try to be special. All right. So the question is, after he blocks, where's the largest framework? I don't know. Nope. This is big. This is big because it threatens me cutting your base right here. How do I explain how this is big? It's his base. Base first. Like, this is your base. That's a 3-space jump. That's not a base. So it just gave me a free corner. Okay. It's a question, will he fix his base or will he Tanuki for a big move? Okay, he's fixing. This is still Aji. But now I think he's fixed. So probably it's okay. So I can reduce it though. So yeah, that one really helps him fix. So that's good. So now, big move. And he got this move, but we got a free corner for it, so it's fine. So we just need to make something of equal value or bigger, and we got a positive exchange rate.
5, 4, 2.
I'm gonna explain this one later. I'm expanding the territory on the right because there's no Moyo. I don't know how to explain that one in 5 seconds. Basically, it's like I'm extending as far as I can for territory. Because a shoulder hit, I don't know if there's a Moyo. Maybe there's a Moyo. Shoulder hit could have also been fine there. But basically, I'm like going for territory because I didn't think there was a Moyo. I could be wrong. I could have probably went for the Moyo with the shoulder hit and be fine. Don't want here, don't want here. I don't see anything wrong with this, so I'm going to do this one. It's more points. Alright, so now white does have a Moyo, but we have a strong Panuki to reduce it, so white has the biggest framework now, so we're going to play reduction. This is a lot of points, but is it bigger than this? I don't think so. Is this Sente? Not quite. So I think we're fine.
10, 9.
So line of influence is right here.
6, 5, 4.
Just shoulder hit.
3.
Just shoulder hit. I could have also peeped the knights. But that might give him Hane and something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just reducing. That's all I'm doing. I'm just reducing. That's all I'm doing. So the reason we were talking about the opening getting 30 points, which we ended up getting 30 points in the opening, is because all you have to do is just play a solid territory game and then reduce any moyo that comes up. And it's a pretty simple middle game. Okay, so that's fine. So I need to focus on defense. Can I push and cut? No. Does this push and cut work? I think it's too much. So let's just run away. I can run away here, or I can run in.
10, 9, 8,
7,
6.
I'm gonna run in
4,
because I have plenty of space and I can reduce, and it also threatens some stuff. So I think it works. But if you were unsure, just run away is also fine. All we have to do is reduce and play defense, and we're fine. Okay, I'm just gonna dog's face. I could horse face, but why? Just it works. Simple is better when it works. When both are equal, be simple. Okay. First off, do I care about this? I mean, yeah, that's Panuki facing my weak group. So I'll keep the Aji alive. It makes it easier for my weak group if there's Aji right here. If I'm strong right there and white's weak right there, it's easier for me to run away. But if white gets Panuki, somehow I can get weaker. So it's kind of like defense. I don't know if that makes sense. You could have also just jumped, I guess, and been fine. It's not that many points. But I thought this was helping my weak group. So I'm still playing defense. Still playing defense. Okay, I don't want to get surrounded, so defense on the right. Jump is fine. Alright, and now I think I should have enough points to win the game. As long as I defend this weak group, and we go into a strong Yosei, I'm confident I'm confident I can win this game. Okay, we're going to play defense. We're not going to Hane. We're not going to start a fight here and get forcing moves, because the more moves we play right here, the weaker I get. So I'm watching my weak group, but I still have to respond because, my weak group here. But the difference between the Hane is I get forcing moves versus the Nobi, I don't get as many forcing moves, but he also doesn't get as many moves. So I'm trying not to attack myself. I call that, I tell my students, when you're playing moves like these, the more moves you play, the more times you hit yourself, and I'm like, stop hitting yourself. Because every move you add over here, you're making yourself weaker. Okay, now he's not attacking me, so defense first. Run away. As soon as I got the opportunity, I'm still watching it like a hawk. Watching my defense like a hawk. Does this cut work? Push, there, cut, Katari, there, push. Yes, it works. So let's just fix while expanding eye space. Could fix directly, but if you compare it to this one's clearly better and also fixes. So fix while expanding eye space. Push there, cut there, Tari there, push there. 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2, even if he blocks. So, yep. And this is the habit you want to build where you can you can notice in 2 seconds that, hey, I don't have to fix directly to still fix the problem, but I'm still watching the cut. That's the big thing. That one's tricky to not respond instantaneously. That's a habit that you're gonna have to fix. I don't need to do this. So
9.
Okay.
8,
This is big Yosei though.
7,
So am I alive? That's the question. I kind of want one more.
3, 2.
All right, I'm not ready to start Yosei yet. I want one more for defense, and then I'll start Yosei. Okay. And now I'm feeling pretty strong here. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty strong here now. I'm practically connected. It's really hard to cut. So now am I ready to start Yosei? Yeah, do that. Compare that to this one. This one also works, but this one's just more points. So here. Defense first. Defense first. Just watching my stuff. All right. So that is the last kind of points move. Is this Moyo big enough? Let's see. Quadrant is that big. I could reduce, but I feel like that's gonna be Dame. If we're both like reducing each other back and forth, it's gonna be Dame.
10, 9,
Probably I can reduce
7,
once or twice.
6, 5.
Can I get Sente out of it?
3.
I don't know, so I'm gonna do Yosei. I'm running out of time. So Sente, Yosei, Sente, Yosei. Is that Sente? I think so. I think this one's more Sente though. Let's compare. This one should be more Sente. Yeah, reducing over here to build the center does look very nice, but I'm worried it's Gote, and giving your opponent Sente and Yosei is worth almost like 10 or 15 points. But is that Sente? So push there. Nope. Nope. I read my cuts. C8 is unnecessary danger. Like, why do you need to C8? You were winning on points. All you have to do is reduce, and it's a lot safer variations. Okay. This is Sente? Almost. Is that all my Sente?
10.
Am I out of
9,
Sente?
8, 7, 6, 5.
This one might be bigger.
4, 3.
Because I get a Hane. This one, I only get a Hane, and then no beam, he blocks. It's not very much. Looking at the follow-ups, not very much. That is Gote, though, so I don't have to respond. Doesn't activate any cutting point with a throw-in or anything. So I'm good. Cutting points here are good. So let's proceed with Yosei. T4 is not Sente. No, T4, Atari, connect, cut. There's a cutting point right here. So I cannot do that one. Not worried about that. That was actually a bad habit. I shouldn't have played so fast. I should have like read some other stuff. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 points. I'll go ahead and fix, because I don't want to deal with the reading in the corner and compare it to this. This is really big though, but it's fine. It's fine. He just wants to block, and that's okay. But I did have the option to Tsuniki. Okay, double check my cuts. I'm still good until that Liberty's filled. Once that Liberty's filled, then I'm not good anymore. Okay, that says right. I will fix that. 2 to 1. So he cuts, I Atari, he takes 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1, 2, 3. So that's 5 points Gote. This is block, so that's
10.
maybe 6
9,
points
8.
with follow-ups.
7, 6.
Is this one bigger?
5, 4, 3, 2.
I could be wrong, but this one might. I don't know. My quick count says this is bigger, but I could very well be wrong. Okay. Free Atari. And take. Getting an A3 might not be Sente. Okay, and just keep taking the corner. I am playing a little bit fast here. I should be playing a little bit slower. Okay. Alright, and I do not have any more Sente moves. I can go here, but he can Atari, and then that's not that big. I can go here, but he can just block, or even ignore. It's really not that big. So I'm out of Sente moves. Okay, so do I have any other second line Sente? That's big for white, but not for black. This one might be big.
5.
And that cut still is fine, so I can go here. Because why be complex and give them forcing moves when you can just be simple and Sente? Okay, this one, but I think the outside's getting bigger in that one now. Is this worth it? Because this one, I technically don't have time to come back and fix is the problem.
7, 6.
Okay,
4, 3, 2.
Let's start reducing and building the center. Big Yosei. Big Yosei. Okay, and then cap. Build the center, and he's probably going to reduce. That's fine. That's his right. But will he defend is the question. I thought it might be Gote to do that over there. That's why I didn't do it. Okay, I'm just going to block my area. Seems fine. I could keep making it bigger, but he might Atari and get a lot of reductions. So it should be simple. Watch my cutting points. Make sure nothing activates. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I am golden. Yep, there's the reduction. This is why I went for Yosei first, because I didn't think it was that big. So I'm just going to push because he's also building. So let's just destroy both. And I got the Yosei, so I'm happy with it. If both get destroyed and I'm the one who got the Yosei first, then I'm happy with it. I know I was counting Yosei a lot in this one, and I haven't done that before. It's a little hard to explain. But basically what I'm doing is I'm reading out the result if I just respond, and I say, how many do I get, how many do they get? And then I read out the result if I don't respond, how many do I get, how many do they get? And then I add those values together, and if it's Sente, I double it. If it's Sente for both sides, I double it again. And that's kind of how I'm doing the math. Then if you wanted to take it a step further, you could do the follow-ups that way as well. You can say I ignore, and then if I ignore again, they get this, and if I respond, I get this. And then for the follow-up variation, you do the exact same thing. You double it for half, but because it's a follow-up, I half the result. So if it's Gote, it's this divided by 2. If it's Sente, I double it and divide it by 2, so basically it stays the exact value. So it's a little complex mathematics, but if you get in the habit of doing it a lot, I practice doing that on 13 by 13. Yeah, it sounds complex. It's really just basic addition and subtraction. It's just a matter of like doing it quickly. And so to practice this, I don't know what I'm reading here.
10,
boop,
9,
boop, boop, boop,
8,
boop, boop.
7,
I'm fine, right? Boop.
6, 5, 4, 3.
Let's just defend.
2.
Let's just defend. No problems. No problems. So I practiced Yosei on the 13 by 13, and then I just, because you get into Yosei very quickly, and then you can do a lot of different games. And so I practiced 1, keeping Sente, and 2, start learning how to count the values to compare one Sente to another Sente. And that's good practice. However, the best
10,
thing you can do to
9,
learn Yosei,
8,
honestly,
7,
is to buy a book
6,
on it.
5, 4, 3.
Because we have the Get Strong at Yosei, we have the Elementary Go series to Yosei, There's plenty of pro books talking about Yosei. Honestly, a book on Yosei with actual Yosei problems is honestly the best. But what you saw me do was those quick addition and subtraction calculations. That's all I was doing. Post it for every modifier. It's really easy. Gote is the value as is. Sente is double. Double Sente is double double. And then follow-ups are half. But don't worry about the follow-ups while you're learning it. While you're learning, I would just say focus on like just the main. If you ignore versus if you don't ignore, and just learn the main one first. The follow-ups is actually complex. And I will tell you the real, that's my shortcut mathematics, so I can do it in a game. But the real mathematics in Yosei is like doctorate level mathematics. So I will tell you that if you're wanting to get like real math, like really intense mathematics, there's a book called Mathematical Way to Go that talks about the mathematics of Yosei, and it's written by this famous mathematician.
8.
And he made Yosei problems that even the top players in the world couldn't solve. Or he made in-game problems that the top players in the world couldn't solve. And he basically, I don't know if he solved in-game, but basically came up with a bunch of formulas for in-game. And I asked my mathematics friend, who had graduated in mathematics, if he understood it, because it's doing like temperatures and stuff like that, some weight values, and I asked him if he understood it. He's like, no, that math is beyond me. So it's probably my non-math self thinks that it's like doctorate level mathematics because it's really complex. Yeah, Lee Cheng-ho is really great with Yosei. His books are really good, but I don't know if he has English books, right?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Okay, push
5,
the borders, push the borders,
4,
push the borders, push
3,
the borders.
2.
Boop. I don't care, because that's 2 points versus like 6 points. Now, if I connected and he no-bead, and I Tiger's Mouth and cut, push there, Atari there, I think I could have still killed the whole thing. So I probably could have just connected. I definitely can connect now, but what am I trying to do? If I just kill this, I threaten a monkey jump. He can push, and I connect. He can Atari, and I connect. I'm cut, but I have 2 eyes. Do I have 2 eyes?
10, 9, 8.
Maybe
7,
not.
6,
So connect or
5, 4.
push. Let's keep my 2 eyes. Don't lose track of your eyes in Yosei. That's a common mistake. That is definitely Sente. So now is a good time to like look at other Yosei, and because I've been talking. So let's see. I have push there. That looks good. I have there threaten a baby
10,
monkey.
9.
I have push there, push
7,
there.
6,
Doesn't really do anything.
5,
I push
4,
right here.
3.
Up here I have Hane and Nobi. I have push right here, but it doesn't do anything. I will block right here. That's points. Can I go here first? He pushes Ayatari. He takes. I connect. And I have Miai to live.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah. This is only a few points. As long as I have Miai to live, it's only a few points. Yep. He ate something. But it is, I can't cut him, though. It's getting to the point where he might kill me.
10, 9,
Let's just connect.
7,
Let's just connect. I pushed as much as I can push it. I'm getting as close to death as I can. I should just connect. I lost the points there, but I gained points here, so it's fine. That, yeah, so I have to fix. Okay, let's get my monkey. Can I go here? I absolutely can. Is it Sente? No, it is not. Is it? No, it is not. Dang it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
I don't know which one's bigger. This one or this one? Because I think this one makes this one Gote, so I'm trying to get this in Sente and then go get here, but I don't know if that will be Sente. Yosei is hard. Yosei is hard. Yeah, just reduce. Just reduce. Yosei is hard. Yep. Okay, so he blocks. If I go here, that's a double peep. I think he can cut me, though. If I try to cut.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
If he ignores, that
5,
could be
4,
pretty good.
3.
All right. What's your plan? Blocking here might be good. I have some pushes right here that I can do to bully. This is Gote is the problem. Is it worth it? Probably not.
10,
Probably something up
9,
here is bigger.
8, 7.
Can I do anything over here?
5, 4, 3.
I don't know. 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 Let's just get points. Just play a decent Yosei and I think we're fine. That is Gote. I can make all of this Dame.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Get a couple
5,
points.
4.
Let's do this real quick. Yosei's hard. Yosei is hard. Oh, I didn't expect that. So that's a lot of points. I really want this to be Sente, but I can't make it Sente.
Ten, 9.
Oh, I really want it to be Sente. I want it to be Sente so bad. Maybe a misread. Okay. Oh, if I can push through here, I can make this Sente by threatening to kill it.
10, 9.
That's cool.
8, 7.
Is this
6,
bigger than this? I think this
5,
one's bigger.
4.
So let's reduce this way and make them block over here. Because I think if he blocks over here, this is maybe more points than blocking over here. So 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8. But that 2 points I think he gets no matter what. That's close. That's hard to say. Maybe if like I wasn't a BOYami, I could read it. I could count it more accurately. That's a tough call. Yeah, this is threatening a lot of cuts. So I think this one, reducing here is more exciting. Okay, now let's reduce here. I think we're happy with it. The only other interesting spot is up here, and then of course white has all these moves over here. Okay, that's fine. He's just trying to Atari to get this, but I get Sente out of it. Oh, okay. Okay, so he gets Sente out of it for 1 point. That's what he's doing. Atari there, Atari there, Atari there. So he lost a couple points. He lost several points, but he will get Sente. Okay, but this one is actually Gote. That's the problem. If he Ataris and takes, I just take back. So that's only 1 point, so I'm not going to block. So yeah, I'm happy with that result. Let's go here. Get a couple points here. And then down here is getting big as well. Okay. I think this, like, block, he Ataris and then bamboos. So I think I have to Nobi. So I got like 3 points. Okay, that's his right. Is there anything cool I can do right here? No, not until these liberties are filled. There's a peep right here, but it doesn't. Oh,
10, 9, 8.
it does nothing.
7.
It does nothing. It threatens to cut 2 living groups. That's what it does. Nothing, 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 nothing. That I think this one's bigger. Reduce. Reduce. I can no longer cut anything, but I can reduce. This one's big. Push. Just reduce. Just play your safe. Fix my cuts. Dangerous goose to Suji if White gets this move. Okay. I'm just gonna keep pushing. Zitame. It's like 1 point. Point and a half, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
10, 9, 8, 7,
This
6,
doesn't activate anything, does it?
4, 3.
I'm just worried about my cutting points. Yeah, watch your cutting points in Yosei. It's super, super dangerous. You get caught off guard. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. As long as I'm watching the cutting points, I'm good. Yeah, be very cautious about your cutting points in Yosei. It's a good way to lose the game, like, at the very end. Watch for the goose to Tsuji. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Atari, there's nothing. What if he pushes and cuts? Nobi down, block, Atari there. Connect, Atari. Is that a Seki? Hold on. Push there, cut. I just Atari this way. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Cool.
10,
Um,
8.
Atari. Always check the forcing moves. Honestly, the way you can see like the push and cut and the Ataris and stuff, best way to do it is to lose to it. Like it's kind of like a trial by fire in the single digit key range. Is you have to like lose to certain patterns, and then you're like, oh, that's a new pattern I don't know. The easiest way that I can say to get through it is to do all the Tsuji problems. Can I just go here?
Ten, 9, 8.
Yeah, the best way I can say to go through it is to do Tsuji problems. But honestly, you can't really do every single Tsuji problem, unfortunately. Some things you're just gonna have to lose a game by, and that's good. That's honestly that's why we say go gain experience. The single digit Q, that's not said until you get this and the Liberty. The single digit Q range, you honestly just need to play lots and lots of games because you need to like lose to certain patterns in order to learn them.
9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. But my hint is the Atari and cut exist next to each other, and they're pretty close by. That's my hint. So I'm just familiar with the shape. I honestly don't know what to do. I don't know what the difference is. Oh, we are running out of time. I'm not going to have a lot of time for this review. Okay. Just reduce. I think the best block is probably going to be this move. Weirdly enough.
Undo requested.
Okay.
Undo granted.
Weird undo. Maybe this one's better. Yeah, this one's better. I was assuming that he was going to get that. But if I just block it, he doesn't get it. This one's also big. What you have to do to get to one Dawn sounds easy enough, but I think the hardest thing for getting from single digit Q to one don is the habit to play, the habit and accuracy, and being able to basically play like this for every single move, and be able to play like that in overtime, and be able to find the right moves quickly, recognize weaknesses or not weaknesses. And that comes with a lot of practice. So it sounds easy on paper, but practice definitely makes perfect. I think, and like I mentioned at the start, 9Q to 7Q is all about, you're not going to be able to play all the moves right off the bat, but what you can do is figure out what habits you want to build and build those habits.
9.
Because what you need to be careful about in 9Q to 7Q is building the bad habits. Because if you have bad habits, you're going to get stuck at some point, and then that's going to take forever to get past. So what you got to do is make sure that you're watching your habits at the lower single digit Qs. The habits is the key. The habit to take your time, the habit to give yourself options, the habit to read and not just, have a gut feeling. A lot of my students are feeling called out right now. You can't feel, you have to read. Glad you enjoyed it, Dizzy. Is that it? No. Seven Q? Yeah, I would say you really want to watch your habits at 7Q. Definitely there's a knowledge factor from like lower single digit Q to high single digit Q. You definitely have to do a lot of studying. You have to learn opening patterns, Joseki patterns, Tsuji patterns. There's a lot of studying involved. But the bigger thing that makes people get stuck isn't the lack of knowledge, because you can learn the knowledge. The biggest thing is habits. I think that's the big thing. J9.
10.
Oh, there's a co.
9. 8.
J.
6. 5. 4. 3.
I'll take the co. But honestly, I don't want to fight a co. Normally, I would tell you, I don't care how far ahead you are, fight for every point. Fight this co. But we're running out of time, so I'm not going to fight this co. I'm just going to give White the co. Because I want to get to the review, because this is a lesson, not a game. If I was in a game, I would fight every tooth and nail for that point. But I only have like 37 minutes for the... I have less than 30 minutes for the review, actually, because we had to get in the car and leave. But it's okay.
Dead stones.
It's okay. It's honestly not that big of a deal. Except... Thank you for the game.
You have won.
Yeah. One thing I want to make sure that people do is don't be upset for, like I know some people might say, why didn't White resign? I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I have some mixed opinions about if he should resign or not. Learning wise, I think you should resign as soon as you can't win. You should resign and go play another game and gain more experience. But there's also like an idea of, should you resign in a tournament? I don't think it's necessarily bad if you have the opinion of, I'm not going to resign in a tournament. Like in a ranked game, probably you should, just so you can go get more practice. It's just go learn, right? Yeah, I see that. It's fine. It doesn't matter. But in a tournament or a serious game that you want to try your best, I think not resigning isn't necessarily a bad thing, and you shouldn't be mad at your opponent, especially if they don't resign and you end up losing. Okay, being able to finish a game is all on you. Being able to, if you can't keep the win for another 100 moves, that's on you. Okay, I know it sucks. I know that you should have won the game. Like in certain games, you should have won the game, yes. But being able to win a game, even with your opponent trying all or nothing moves over and over and over and not giving up, and keeping that mental stamina, that's discipline. So if you should have won the game, then if you had played properly, you would have won. And you can't get mad at your opponent for you messing up. And it really sucks. Like, it's one of the worst ways to lose is if you have like a winning position, you're up by a lot, and then you miss like a cutting point right at the end, and you just lose. You're like, I had this game won. I was destroying this guy, and then I won cutting point at the end. Well, guess what? I mean, you didn't check your cutting points, right? It's habits. And it really, really sucks. I've lost many games like that, okay? I've been there. I've been playing this game for 14 years. I've lost by a lot of positions, okay? I understand completely. But we need to humble ourselves and say, it's on us if we can't win the game, okay? If we don't win the game, it's our fault. So I want you to do that, because being able to win a one game, being able to finish a one game, is important. It's a skill that you need to develop. You will take patience and practice, and patience is I had to learn a lot of patience. I had to learn a lot of patience in Go. In order to get like past the single digit key range, I needed a lot of patience. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Go can be pretty heartless. Go is a pretty heartless mirror. So yeah, don't ever be mad at your opponent for them trying things within the rules of the game. Yeah. I had a friend who did that. He kept losing tournament games because he's like, I'd get in a winning position and then just lose focus and stop caring, and then I'd lose. I'm like, well, stop losing. It's a tournament game. You need to take it seriously. He kept losing all of his tournament games. I'm like, just freaking focus. That's on you. You can't just keep losing winning positions. It's on you. Yeah, that's important. Keeping focus in a winning position is a skill, okay? There's a lot of... You don't realize the game is not just like skill and strategy based. It is mental skill as well. Mental skill, patience, discipline, these are all very important factors when you're trying to master a strategy game, okay? And honestly, it's not just Go and chess or board games, it's video games too. The discipline that the top players in competitive video games have as well is much, much better than the amateur discipline. And the amateur discipline is, there's a lot of amateurs that are like, oh, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. Like, they watch video game stuff like, I could do that. I'm like, yeah, but can you do it 100 times in a row? Okay, discipline is very, very important. I would say the biggest key to getting strong is discipline and dedication. Okay, discipline for yourself, humbleness, being able to learn, being able to accept a loss as your fault, what you did wrong. Even if like you had a winning position, if you lose, you couldn't bring it home. Why not? Let's critically analyze it. It doesn't mean you're bad. Just critically analyze it and work on it next time, right? And focus on getting discipline for every single move. Okay? Then also practice, right? Dedication, years of practicing every day, tens of thousands of Go problems. Like practice, discipline and dedication. So you could also call it discipline and experience. Yeah. I agree with that, Dizzy. I think anyone can do anything with enough discipline. I don't care if you're a genius or not a genius. With enough practice and discipline, I think anyone can do anything. Now, being a genius definitely makes it easier and faster, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. Now, can discipline become world class? No. Unfortunately, it takes a genius with very good discipline to become world class. But can you become top level? Yeah, that just takes discipline. Some people move faster than others. That's fine. That's called talent. But I don't care how talented you are. If you don't put in practice, you're not going to be able to beat someone who does. I don't care how talented you are. But especially if you're not talented, you're not going to beat a talented person who practices a lot. That's like the epitome of skill. Okay, so let's review this game. We don't have a lot of time left, so we'll review this quickly. Okay, so the idea is if you go here, and you play this one like normal, you get to this opening, which is fine. This is also fine. That's what we played in the game. But the idea is if you play this one, your opponents will still sometimes play on the left, and you get to play this one, which is quite nice. And then you can get points lever. And now you have 3 corners, and all you have to do is just deal with this Maya. So you just play reduction. It's actually quite powerful at single digit range. If they go low, this one's a little bit slack, but it's okay because you still get 3 corners, and you're fighting for Sente more than anything else. So you still have 3 corners. And you just reduce the position. I think Kato is like very much trying not to let me do it because he immediately went here. Now, Drooch mentioned that I was supposed to go here. Again, I had to rewatch the lecture, but I think if you just go here, it's also fine. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I think cross at single digit Q is possible, but maybe wait till 5Q to go to cross. I don't know. I think this is perfectly fine because we still got 3 corners, right? If he goes here, boom, boom, boom. I think this is still fine. And then I guess the corner doesn't really matter. Just getting 3 corners, still fine. But Drusha went here, so I went and got another corner. I Clossi approached because I didn't go low because I have support, so I went high. Then Drusha went in. This is fine, but this is going to be Gote. This is trying to get Sente out of this is too greedy. Taking Sente here is way too greedy. This is going to be way too good for black. And then we punished, so we attack. And then white tried to attack and sacrificed. So white sacrificed this position. I disagree with this. I think you should play defense first. I think you should not sacrifice a group right now. I think you probably shouldn't sacrifice a group until like 3Q plus, at least. Even then, it's like really dangerous to sacrifice groups. Unless you can count the exact value of the group and have a really good idea of the Aji, it's really, really hard to sacrifice groups. So I highly encourage that you guys don't do it. So here I'm just, keeping you cut. This probably should have been here. This one is definitely better than the game because there's still 2 cutting points, which is not good. But even this one I thought was too good for black. So I was thinking just here. And then boom, 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 boom. It's more connected. Just watch your cutting points. You thought black is overconcentrated? Black has like 30, 40 points. Black's definitely ahead. We can just look at the graph, right? Just look at the AI graph. So right here, it says black's up by 7 if you reduce, 10 if you don't. Okay, and then after I cut and play here, black's up by 10. Okay, so black's up by 10 points. Can you show the M16 net? Okay, so you were saying M16. And I was saying they go here, 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 here. That's a net. I don't know where you got M18. I don't know when M18 got played. Yeah. Yeah, black. That's a good point. Wild Nuggets. I actually agree with you completely. Here, if white plays like AI, black is only up by 10. But let's do my count. Let's do the amateur count. So white has 5 here, and let's say 5 here. So white has 15. Say white has 15. Black has 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 36. Let's say 2 points for influence. So 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 40. Let's say 46. We'll be generous. So 15. So let's go 40 to 15 because of Comey. So what is that? 25? Yeah, 25 points. So I think black's up by 25. For amateur players, black's up by 25. If you're AI, then you can do something about the influence. Anywhere from 10 to 25 points. So black's very far ahead. That's fine, Yosei, it's your right. This is okay. You're trying to reduce. This is wrong though. You should block because this is a 3-space jump. So if I go in here, it's going to be a fight. You have the advantage, yeah, but you need your base. If you just lose your base, then a fight over here is bad for you. So here you had to block. So I was able to steal the corner in Sentai. So even though you got a corner, I stole a corner and still get to make up for it. I still have Sentai to make up for the big move. So you got a big move, I'm getting a big move, but I took your corner. So that's a bad exchange. So the move is here, and then black will probably go do something. And then later, white has this Tsuji. And black can still jump, so black's fine. It's not like black has a problem. But you can see white has a base now, so it's a lot easier to deal with any Aji over here. So here it just felt like I got like 7 to 10 points for free. And I also mentioned I could have shoulder hit here and build a Moyo. This is probably more Clossi Approach. This is more common with the Clossi Approach. I just wanted to show you guys attachments because this is more territorial. And since we went for a territorial opening, this is not that bad. And you saw how it played out. White gets influence, you get territory, right? So as long as the influence is manageable, in other words, I had a Panuki in the center, I can manage the Moyo. As long as the Moyo is manageable, then it's perfectly fine. It's just territory for Moyo. But I also could have just built my Moyo, which is fine too. This is more what I do normally with the Clossi Approach. It's what we did up to single digit Q. So if you do this one, I think it's perfectly okay. It's just a different way of playing. I just wanted to show you guys this one as well. It's kind of cool. But probably center, actually. If center's more modern, I think center might actually be better here. Yeah, just doing stuff like this. I mean, just look at the center. So I think center might be more modern. So this one might be old-fashioned. That's fine. Built the Moyo. Probably you can go like right here, though, right? But yeah, I'm going to reduce it. No matter what you do, I'm going to reduce it. This one was Dame. That one's not big. That's just reduced. I'm not sure what you were aiming at here. Just forcing moves, I guess. This was interesting, but I expected you to try to attack me. I thought you were going to try to attack me. This is your last chance, because you don't have enough points, so you have to attack and gain profit, or you lose. Because you just don't have enough points. So after I survive here, at this point, I would say it's game over. No chance. As long as I don't make a mistake in Yosei, there's no chance. And let's see, this is move 83. Let's go right here. Nope. Yeah, so AI says white's up by 20. Oh, sorry, black's up by 20. Okay, so maybe there's a chance. So, okay, hold on. That's not fair. I wouldn't see that either. Hold on, what is this? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I should know that. That's like a Dawn move though, right? I think I've seen this before. Yeah, I've seen that before. I should have looked at that. It's a weakness of a 2-space jump. I know the shape. I just didn't consider it. Okay, for AI, it's 20 points. It's probably more than 20. Let's see. After I play Yosei, just playing Yosei. Actually, I'm curious about this trade. Okay, so here, if black's up by 27, let's make this trade. Black's up by 28. Okay, it wasn't a bad trade. No, I just legit didn't see these moves. Okay. I legitimately didn't even consider those. I should have. As a Tudon, I should have seen those moves. But I didn't. That's my mistake. But at 9Q, there's no way we're going to see those moves. Like, I should have seen them, but at 9Q, there's no way we see them. Yeah, we're just getting up by more and more. So in addition to like the 20-point lead, I also gained like I'm up by 30 now, 35. So I probably gained at least 10 points in Yosei, which is expected because of the level difference. Probably you can, if your Yosei is good, you can probably at least gain 5 points against your opponents in Yosei. 10 is a little optimistic, but if you've studied Yosei and your opponent hasn't, 10 is actually pretty easy to do. But if your opponent has studied Yosei and you've studied it better, I think you can get 5 points. Okay, so after I fix that, after I fix all the Aji on the right, I'm up by 50. So if we assume 20 in Yosei, I was up by 30, not including the Aji over here. So probably I was up by 30, so that's by that peep. So I think that's what made it game over. And then probably I gained 20 points in Yosei because it went from like 20 to 63. So according to the AI, I gained like 40. Oh no, yeah, 40. But I think more realistically, because I didn't see the AI stuff. More realistically, it's just 20 to 30 I gained in Yosei. My official amateur rank is 4-dan AGA. But that's probably equal to 2-dan EGF, the European Ghost Federation. Probably like 2-dan EGF. 2-dan OGS. 5-dan Fox. I haven't played on KGS in many years, so I don't know about KGS. But yeah, 4-dan AGA, 2-dan EGF, 2-dan OGS, and 5-dan Fox. Those are my official ranks, I think. And I say official. EGF, I'm just like, I've seen 2-dans, and I don't think I can pull off higher than 2-dan. Not without a lot of study. So I would say I'm probably 2-dan EGF, just to make it easier for the Europeans to understand. But beyond that, 2-dan OGS, 5-dan Fox, 4-dan AGA. So this one, I think a lot of interesting Yosei tips. If you had blocked in the bottom right, let's see. If you had played here, I think it's fine. Apparently this is bigger than the cut and this, like both cuts. Like this cut. Oh. Okay, we're not AI. Okay, so ignore the AI. AI's stupid. Okay, AI's stupid good at this game. Apparently, so this is like 1 point better than this one. So if you had blocked right here, it's fine. It's fine. I was being too fancy. It's like 1 point better. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. I think just playing a strong Yosei is good. I don't think I did anything fancy this game. I think it just attacked strongly. Watch my cutting points. I think the big thing here is a double digit Q. I would say here's the move, and then make your base, and then you could chase white. That's the double digit Q idea. Attack with strength. But the single digit Q idea is like if I make it Miai for life, I can surround and almost kill you. You might actually be dead already. But I can pretty much kill you just by surrounding. But you have to be very careful with this stuff because sometimes your opponents will be able to sacrifice things. I don't really have a good example right now. I think still you should be attacking things. If we get to like 5Q plus, I think some players will probably sacrifice, and then I'll talk about spend like one move to punish and then go respawn. Don't give them 3 Tanukis for the group. 3 Tanukis for a group is usually not good, but like 2 is fine. Like if he he played on the outside. Let's say I played right here, and he played right here. I could potentially invest one more move, and it would still be okay. But probably I could read this and see that it's dead. If it's just already dead, then I don't have to. But if your opponent did something like this and you invested one more move, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's a little bit not good. This one's a little bit wasted. But if you can like secure a kill in one move and then go elsewhere, it's fine. But let's say you put that extra move in, that third move in, or it's I guess second move in. No, it's there because we started the attack, then we surrounded, he got on the outside, and then we sealed it. We sealed the deal, right? If white lives now, this is really bad. In other words, if you play here, this has to kill. And if you're uncertain, then just go play a big move. And no matter what happens like in the future of this area, you should have the advantage. Even if white lives, you should have the advantage in this area. So it doesn't matter. But if you play a third move, if you commit to the kill, it has to be dead or you're wrong. Or you just lose too many points. Okay, it has to be dead if you spend 3 moves on it. So usually you attack twice, and if they get another Tanuki, so they play on the outside, and they get a Tanuki. At this point, I've already punished once. I don't have to respond. I can just go play a big move, and it's pretty easy game. And if this lives, it's not too big of a deal because my influence is already like massive profit. And he would have to give me a lot of points to live. But if I commit one more, it has to die. So if your opponent ignores, punish it. And if they ignore again, kill it or go play a big move. Okay? That's the options. Kill it or go play a big move. You've already punished. You're already going to get a positive exchange right there. Sacrificing groups. I don't think you should sacrifice groups until like beyond 5Q. Okay, I don't think anyone at this level or double-digit Q at all should be sacrificing groups. But I'm telling you, if your opponents sacrifice groups, this is kind of a way to handle it. I don't think you should be sacrificing groups right now. I think you should be playing defense first. Okay. But if your opponents sacrifice it, be very wary of the third Tanuki. It's a good way to like lose too much value. And we could have played a big move. We could also punish. So this is an interesting point. This hasn't come up in our games yet. But there is a point, like you see white's playing over here and not down here. Or sorry, the AI is playing over here and not down here. First off, I want to punish this, and I kind of understand the AI not wanting to because it's actually quite difficult to punish. But Clossi Approach, we should be punishing right now until we learn why, or learn how to value like what's bigger. But it's fine. So punishment's fine. But the AI is wanting to play over here. So why is that? So, oh my gosh. If you do 1 for 2, you can see this actually is a large position, and this is still invadable. So there is a point, and this is when you're studying your openings. I wouldn't worry about this too much in middle game, but when you're studying the openings, there is a point where certain opening patterns will not follow the direction of play. And a good example of that is in the Chinese opening. Boom, 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 boom. So they approach right here. Okay, so the Clossi Approach direction of play would say to pincer, because open side. But a lot of new players play this one. And why is that? It's because combination is sometimes bigger than the basics, than the direction of play. Okay? You should not ever make the decision of combination over basic unless you've researched it with pro openings. Because I don't think you can accurately make that estimation on your own until probably like 2Q or dawn level. Like, I struggle with that as well. Okay? So, like, in the game, making the combination on the left instead of destroying the bottom, like, I have trouble understanding the difference. Okay? I would rather you play proper direction of play and learn the basics than for you to think combination over big move and be wrong half the time. So, if you want to make combination over basics, you need to have studied the pattern and saw, like study the opening pattern, review pro games, and see that this one is the one that the pros play. Now, don't copy the pros blindly, of course. Like, you need to do your research into the variations, you need to know the follow-ups. That's a terrible thing to copy a pro move and not know the follow-ups. But if you do your research, you've studied it, and you know the opening, then that's when you can do combination over direction of play. But if you don't know that yet, and this is for single-digit Qs, not double-digit Qs, but if you don't know that yet, if you don't know the follow-ups, then you have to play that one. You have to play the basics until you learn why you don't. You can't just not play basics and copy the high-level moves and when you don't understand why, when you don't understand the follow-ups. Because your follow-ups are going to make it wrong. It's going to be worse than the basics. Because if you don't understand why you're doing something, your follow-ups are going to just destroy all the advantages you had with the move. So if we just say this is like 1 point, okay, and we say this is 2 points, because combination's bigger than direction of play in some cases, I would say go for the 1 point move until you understand where this extra point comes from. Because if you play this move and you have the wrong follow-ups, you are very likely going to lose more than 1 point with bad follow-ups if you don't understand why. So it'd be better just to lose the 1 point instead of losing more than 1 point later. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Don't play combination over basics until you understand the difference. Yeah, don't grab a gun to just whack your opponent. Grab a baseball bat to whack your opponent. Then when you understand how to use the gun and how it shoots, then you can use the gun. Guns are worse than swords until you learn how to pull the trigger. Yeah. And in some cases, like some guns with kickbacks, I'm not a gun expert, but some guns with a lot of kickbacks is actually worse than if they just had it like a knife. Because they just like miss and start shooting everywhere else and start losing balance and everything. It would have been better if they just had a knife. But I think guns are probably a little bit easier to use than combinations, though, just because all you have to do is point and shoot. Combinations, you actually have to follow up and think a bit. But yeah, it's a pretty similar example. Like, if you don't know how to pull the trigger, you don't need a gun. You need a sword or a knife or something, right? Or a baseball bat. If you're just gonna whack your opponent, you need a baseball bat over a gun. Baseball bats will hurt worse. But if you can pull the trigger, then yeah, guns are so much better. Of course. But be very careful. Yeah, so hopefully this is an interesting idea. I think this one was a lot less information than the last one, but I think it was because we were focusing on the points a lot more. And I think it was because we got a lead early on. And actually, that's kind of one thing that I love about this, the points lever, is at single digit queue, you always end up with a lead that I've seen my students play. You almost always end up with a lead, like, really fast. And then the middle game becomes a lot easier to play. However, you have to know how to play on the biggest framework. If you don't know how to play on the biggest framework, the points lever gives your opponent a moyo, and if you don't know how to deal with moyos, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So there is a thing of play the opening that you want to play. Like, if you're bad at giving your opponent's moyo, then try the Chinese opening, right? This is why I tell you to like learn an opening. The Chinese opening, black gets a moyo instead of white. The points lever, white gets a moyo. So just keep that in mind. I would say you need to like learn many openings at single digit queue. I wouldn't start picking your favorite openings until you at least know 10. Like, you need to know at least like 10 to 12 openings. And then when you understand the patterns involved with those, then you can start picking your favorites. And yeah. I do have a Clossi class video, public Clossi class video that talks about how to make your opening perfect, talks about how to research the opening. It's very high level though. It's like really strong single digit queue. But if you wanted to like learn like what tools I use to study openings for dawn level openings and stuff, you can do that. It's a very informative, but also can be a little bit overwhelming of a lecture. But that does exist as well. But I think just learn one opening at a time. Like Chinese opening, points lever, Sanrensei. You got to know all these basic openings. White getting a bigger moyo against the Chinese. Yeah. If you don't know how to make a moyo with the Chinese, you're doing it wrong. This is why I said follow-ups matter. If you're going for territory with the Chinese opening, you can get some territory. That's fine. It's just it's not only territory. There's a lot of influence in Chinese opening. But if you want a territory, why not go for like? Why not go for this? That's territory. This is much more territory than Chinese opening. But the Chinese opening gets a lot of, influence. So yeah, we will conclude it here. So hopefully this was a lot more examples for you guys. Hopefully you was able to find it helpful. Again, we have a lot of games to play at single digit queue, so we'll see a lot of examples. I know someone mentioned that they struggle with shapes, so I'm actually going to link shape lecture. So what I'm going to do is DSAUN shape lecture. You just Google it. You can get Doosan Shape Lecture. DSAUN. And I'll link this. This is a 3-hour lecture about basic shapes. I highly recommend the lecture. It's a very good lecture. Another way to learn some basic shapes is review old Japanese pro games, like 1800s, 1900s pro games. Modern pro games, the shapes are like too complex. But older pro games, they have really good shapes and combinations. However, it does require reading. But single digit Q, I think you can start reviewing pro games. You won't be able to understand it quite right off the bat, but over time you will, especially if you apply the basics to it. I think old pro games, 1800s, 1900s, make a lot more sense with the Clossi approach than modern play. Modern play is like way too complex. It's way too high level. Yep. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed that, and I'll go ahead and wrap up the video here. So thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.